How many carbs do you need to be eating for your carb load? I'm going to try to keep this to 5 minutes or less to get straight to the point. So first things first, I am going to be talking in pounds because I use pounds personally. But most of the research, actually pretty much all of the research, all research in general, is usually done in kilos. But we're just going to simply convert that over to pounds because it's easier for me to talk about because that's what I use. So that being said, literally all of the research is done on 8 to 12 grams of carbohydrates per kilogram of body weight. So a simple way to convert that is we're simply going to take that 8 to 12 and convert that over and round just a little bit. It's really about 3.4 to 5.5, but for simple making them match up, we're going to do 3.5 grams to 5.5 grams per pound of body weight. So real quick, we're going to pop open a calculator. Let's just run a scenario real quick. So I weigh about 200 pounds, especially when I'm about to do a marathon. I tend to lose about 5 pounds, so I really weigh about. So all we're going to do is we're going to go multiply there. So that's 700. Then we're going to go to the high end. That's 1,100. So that's going to be my range. And all you got to do is do that for yourself. If you weigh 150 pounds, put that in. So that's going to be your low and your high. And the way I like to do it is if you're going to do if we're talking in terms of a marathon, we're going to do a 3-day carb load. If we're talking in terms of a half marathon or something like a Hyrox, where you want to carb load for, we're going to do a 2 or even a 1-day carb load, depending on what you're used to in volume in your training to begin with. So that being said, what you're going to do for the marathon carb load is over those 3 days. So that's going to be 3 days out. So day 4 is going to be the marathon. So on day 1, we're going to go on that low end. On day 2, and I'll tell you why. On day 2, we're going to go to the high. And then on day 3, we're going to go back to the low end. Reason being is on day 1, and on day 1, you could go towards the high end. It does might benefit you actually. But usually you don't need that many days of super high. That's why I go that way. And the reason being is, so you start that carb load on day 1. Then on day 2, you're literally filling all your glycogen stores because I'd say the majority, if not everybody, isn't running 2 days out. Some people like to run the day before. Personally, I do not, but that's a whole different story. So you're not running that 2 days before. So not only are you getting those carbs in, you're also not depleting yourself at all. And then the reason I like that 3rd day to be lower is so that you don't have all that food sitting in your gut. That way, when you get to that start line, you are feeling fresher and you don't have anything sitting around or any stomach distress while you are out there. Also, you usually have stuff going on that day before. So for me personally, as I'm traveling, as I'm going to the race expo, getting in 1,100 grams of carbs is going to be pushing it. So that's why I like that layout. If you're doing the 1 or 2 day carb load, you kind of just feel it out. You got to play with it. You probably don't need 1,000 personally. I don't need 1,000 grams before a half marathon. It also depends on how fast you're going to be running this. If you're going to be running it in like 105, 110, really the carb load's even less important because you're not even really tapping into those stores as much. If you're talking like a 150, 2 hour, 210, now you're tapping into those glycogen stores more simply because you're out there longer. The longer you are running, it doesn't necessarily matter the distance, it matters the time, how long you are running is where that really comes into. So for that, you could do the high on day 2. So 2 days out, you do the high, and then 1 day out, you do the lower day. And I mean, that's still high. So again, real quick recap, we're going to take 3.5, 5.5, multiply that by your body weight in pounds. And if you are in kilos, it's simple. You just do 8 and 12. Because again, that's what the research is on. But 3.5, 5.5, multiply that by your body weight. 3-day carb load, we're going to go low, high, low. 2-day carb load, you can go high, low. 1-day carb load, just kind of feel it out, fall somewhere in the middle. I don't really necessarily advise going all the way high, but you could. But then you're gonna have a lot of food sitting in your gut, so that might not be the best strategy. So feel it out, see how that goes for you. And if you're watching this on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, drop any questions you have below, and I'll answer them in a future video.